Hello, I am Ceci from Two Authors, and in this video I'll show you how to crochet your own amigurumi chicken. This pattern is special for beginners since it uses only the basic crochet stitches and they are very easy to learn. Also, I'll teach you how to make a variation in the beak so you can embroider the beak and to make it a little more simple. And if you want to have your own amigurumi chicken like these ones, keep watching. You will need some yellow yarn. I've used this 100% cotton yarn, orange for the beak, and some pink for the cheeks. Also a 3mm crochet hook, a pair of scissors, a stitch marker, a yarn needle, 6mm safety eyes, and some stuffing. Oh, and you can also use this keychain in the end so you can take your chicken with you anywhere you want. We're going to start by making a magic ring. And for that, you're gonna grab some yarn and wrap it around 2 fingers, crossing it on top like this, forming a letter X. Now, grab your hook and insert it underneath the first thread and over the second thread. Now pull through and carefully twist your hook. You will see that you have formed a little loop on the crochet hook, that one. Now you're gonna grab the yarn on the left and you're going to pull it through the first loop that you created. Do this carefully and there you go. This is your magic ring. This is the beginning of many amigurumi projects. Now we're going to pull a little from this tail of yarn, this shorter tail of yarn, to adjust the ring, making it easier for us to work in the next steps. Now we're going to work our first round by working inside this magic ring. So we're going to start by inserting the hook, grabbing some yarn and pulling through. Now you will see 2 loops on your hook. You're going to grab some yarn and pull through both loops at the same time. You have learned a single crochet. Now we're going to repeat this single crochet again. Insert, pull through, you have 2 loops that you close together. That's my second single crochet. So I'm gonna continue making single crochets, repeating the same, until I reach a total of 6 single crochets. Here I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 single crochets in my magic ring. Now pull from this short tail of yarn to close the magic ring and adjust it, and you should have something like this. Here are the 6 single crochets that we just created, and now you can identify the first one because there is where you should insert your hook to start round number 2. For round number 2, insert the hook into that first stitch and make a single crochet. Remember, grab some yarn and close the 2 loops together. Now for the next part, we're going to make another single crochet, but we're going to work into that same stitch that we have just worked. Here, where you can see the thread coming out. So we're going to insert the hook again into that same stitch. And we're gonna make another single crochet. There you go, you have just learned how to create an increase, which is 2 single crochets into the same stitch. Grab a stitch marker and mark the first single crochet you made, like this. Now we will make another increase in the next stitch. So here we're gonna make 1 and 2 single crochets into the same stitch. So we insert the hook, we make the first one, and again into that same stitch, we insert the hook and we make the second single crochet. Continue making increases all the way around until you reach a total of 6 increases. At the end of the round, you should have a total of 12 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and the one that is marked, that one, 12. For round number 3, we're going to start by making 1 single crochet. And in the next stitch, we're going to make 1 increase. As you know, it's 2 single crochets into the same stitch. So 1, and into the same stitch, another one. Done. And don't forget to mark the first stitch of the round, like this. Now we're going to continue repeating the same pattern of 1 single crochet, and in the next stitch, 1 increase. And then again 1 single crochet, and in the next 1 increase. Continue repeating this pattern through all the round until you get to the stitch marker. At the end of the round, you should have 18 single crochets in total. For round number 4, make 1 single crochet and then mark it with the stitch marker. And then in the next stitch, you are going to make another single crochet. And in the next stitch, you are going to make an increase. Now you will continue repeating this pattern all the way around until you get to the stitch marker. At the end of the round, you should have a total of 24 single crochets. Start round number 5 by making 1 single crochet. Then in the next stitch, another single crochet, and in the next stitch, another single crochet, for a total of 3 single crochets. Don't forget to mark the first stitch of the round, and we made 1, 2, and 3. In the next stitch, we're going to make 1 increase. As you remember, it's 2 single crochets into 1 stitch. And this is going to be the pattern for this round number 5. 3 single crochets and 1 increase until you get to the stitch marker. At the end of round 5, you should have a total of 30 single crochets. We're going to start round 6 by making 1 single crochet. And then in the next one, another single crochet. And don't forget to mark the first stitch of the round. And in the next stitch, we're going to make 1 increase. Done. Now in the next parts, we're going to start our pattern. Here, the pattern for this part is going to be 4 single crochets and 1 increase. We make 1, in the next one 2, in the next one 3, in the next one 4, and in the next one we make an increase. Then just repeat the same pattern of 4 single crochets, 1 increase all the way around. At the end of the round, you should have 2 single crochets available. So you should just make 2 single crochets there. Here is 1, and in the next one, the other one. At the end of this round, you should have a total of 36 single crochets. For round number 7, start by making a single crochet. And then place a stitch marker to mark the beginning of the round. Now we're going to continue making one single crochet in each of these 36 stitches of this round. You're going to continue making rounds of 36 single crochets until you reach round number 12. So here we just continue without making any increases, remember. Just single crochets all the way around. So you're going to continue from round number 7 to round number 12, making 36 single crochets in each round. Here I have finished 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12 rounds of 36 single crochets. Now for round 13 we have made 4 single crochets. And now we are going to work in these 2 stitches. We're going to make these 2 stitches into one by making an invisible decrease. Remember, we're gonna work in these 2. So if we usually insert our hook like this, for this decrease, we're going to make a variation. So this graphic shows you what is the back loop and what is the front loop. Here, these are the front loops of your stitches. There, where you see the arrow of the front loop is where you should insert the hook this time. So remember, this is the regular way, so we're not gonna do it like this. We're just gonna take the front loop. So we insert the hook taking the front loop only, front loop of the first stitch. Now we go to the next one, front loop of the second stitch. Now we're gonna grab some yarn and pull through both of those front loops. Now you have 2 loops on your hook and you should close them together. There you go, that's your invisible decrease. Now we're gonna continue into the next stitch. You can stretch your work a little bit so you can see clearly where is the decrease and where you should continue. In this case, is this one. So we're gonna insert the hook and make a regular single crochet. Then we go to the next one and make another single crochet. Then go to the next one and make a third single crochet. Go to the next one and make a 4th single crochet. And now in the next 2 stitches, these 2, you're going to make an invisible decrease. So remember, front loop of the first one, front loop of the second one, then grab some yarn, pull through, and then pull through again, closing those 2 loops. Continue doing this, repeating the 4 single crochets and 1 decrease all the way around until you get to the stitch marker. At the end of the round, you should have a total of 30 single crochets. We start round 14 by making 1 single crochet. Then we place the stitch marker and we continue making another single crochet in the next one and another single crochet in the next one. In the next 2, we're gonna make 1 decrease. And the pattern will be 3 single crochets and then 1 decrease all the way around until you get to the stitch marker. Remember to take only the front loops for the invisible decrease. At the end of the round, you should have a total of 24 single crochets. For round 15, we're gonna start by making 2 single crochets. Don't forget to mark the first one always. And then in the next ones, we're gonna make 1 decrease. And that's gonna be our pattern for round 15. 2 single crochets and 1 decrease. At the end of round 15, you should have 18 single crochets in total. Here we're going to make a pause because it's time to place the safety eyes. So count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Between rows 8 and 9, you are going to place the safety eyes, and then you're going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, about 6 or 7 stitches apart. So count your rows and place the safety eyes between rows 8 and 9. You can use some pins to help you position the eyes. Remember, 6 to 7 stitches apart. And then you can use a needle, a plastic needle, to help you because sometimes the stitches are very tight. When you're happy with the position of the eyes, you can secure them using the plastic cap. And then you just can take some stuffing and start stuffing the body of your chicken. Make sure to place the eyes correctly, and then we're going to continue with our next row. And for that, we're going to use our finger to hold the stuffing in place. So we're going to start by making 1 single crochet, and then in the next 2 stitches, we're going to make 1 decrease. Don't forget to mark the first stitch of the round. And then we continue this row 16 by making 1 single crochet and 1 decrease all the way around. At the end of the round, you should have a total of 12 single crochets. Now you can continue stuffing it a little more. And then we are ready to start with our last round. For this round, we're just going to make 6 decreases all the way around. Make sure to count your decreases carefully since this is the last round. Remember to use your finger to keep holding the stuffing in place. Once you finish, you can remove your crochet hook and then you can cut off the yarn by leaving a long tail for sewing. Pull the yarn all the way through and then thread it into a yarn needle. Now we're gonna work on these stitches, but using only the front loop of each stitch. So we're gonna work in this first one. Just taking the front loop, insert the needle through the front loop of the first stitch and then continue with the next ones, inserting your needle into the front loop only. Here is the second. This is number 3. This is number 4. This is number 5. And this is the last one, number 6. Now pull this yarn to close it. And that's it. Now you're gonna take the needle and insert it through here and come out the other end in the center of the magic ring. Try not to pull too tight so it doesn't lose its shape. And now we're gonna use this yarn to make some details. In this case, the little hair details of our chicken. So take the needle and insert it between the first and second row like this and come out through the center, but do not pull all the way through. Just leave some yarn like this and you can use your finger to help you. Then repeat the process one more time. And again, do not pull all the way through. Now we're going to finish off by making a knot, so insert the needle in the middle of these threads, like this, and back again through the middle, making a knot, and pull tight, so it doesn't come undone. Then you're going to insert the needle back again through the center of the magic ring and come out through the other end of the body, like this, and this time you should pull all the way through. Like this. Now you can cut off the excess, and our chicken is ready for a haircut. Start with the magic ring of 6 single crochets, just as we did at the beginning of the body of our chicken. If you don't remember, go back to that part of the video and watch it carefully again. Then you can come back here for round number 2. Start by making 3 single crochets into the same stitch. So here I have 1. Now into that same stitch, I insert my hook and I make a second single crochet. And into the same stitch I insert my hook and I make the third single crochet. Then go to the next stitch and just make 1 single crochet. Before you continue, you can always mark the first single crochet of the round. In this case, that one. Now go on to the next stitch and repeat 3 single crochets into the same stitch. Now go on to the next stitch and make 1 single crochet. Now go on to the next stitch and repeat the 3 single crochets into that same stitch. And finally go on to the last stitch, this one, and make 1 single crochet. With this, our first wing is finished. At the end of this round, you should have a total of 12 single crochets. To finish off, we're going to make a slip stitch. So insert your hook, grab some yarn, pull through, and then pull through one more time. This stitch is very useful to finish off many parts of amigurumi projects. Now just remove your crochet hook and leave a long tail for sewing and cut off the excess. You can hide this tail of yarn, the one from the magic ring, by using a yarn needle and going through a couple of stitches in the wing. Then just cut off the excess and repeat the same process for the second wing. To sew it, start by taking 1 stitch from the body and then pull through, and then take 1 stitch from the wing, but insert your needle only through one of the loops, like this. Then go back to the body again and take 1 stitch from the body, and now 1 stitch from the wing, but only one of the loops. Then repeat the same process, taking 1 stitch from the body and 1 stitch from the wings, but taking one of the loops, like this. And that's it. To finish off, I'm going to insert my needle here and come out one row below. And then I'm gonna work on the stitches that are below the wing here. And I'm going to make a knot. So I'm going to start by inserting here in this thread. And I'm not gonna pull all the way through because I'm gonna make a knot here. I insert it again and I pull tight so this knot doesn't come undone. And then to hide it, I insert my needle back again into the body and come out the other end. And that's it, it's done. You can repeat the process for the second wing as I already did here. And to hide this thread, we're just gonna go back again into the body and come out the other end, then just cut off the excess. Make a magic ring, but only with 3 single crochets in it. Then close the magic ring and get ready for round 2. For round 2, we're just gonna make 3 increases. Remember, an increase is 2 single crochets into the same stitch. This piece is very small, so it can be difficult to work at first, but I suggest that as you crochet, you start shaping the beak as I'm doing here. Then continue making the increases, and at the end of the round you should have a total of 6 single crochets. Then remove your hook, cut off the excess, leaving a long tail for sewing. You can use a plastic needle to help you shape the beak a little more. And also you can cut off the excess yarn from the magic ring, like this. Now we are ready to start sewing the beak. To start sewing, you're going to take 1 stitch from the body, insert your hook like this, your needle like this. Well, not like this. Well, once you took 1 stitch from the body, and it's looking a little like this, you're gonna take 1 stitch from the beak, but this time take the whole stitch, like so. Then go back again and take 1 stitch from the body and another stitch from the beak. Then go back again to the body and take 1 stitch from the body and 1 stitch from the beak. You should do this until you finish sewing all the 6 stitches from the beak. You can sew 3 stitches on the top part and 3 stitches on the bottom part, and always repeating the same technique of 1 stitch from the body and 1 stitch from the beak. At the beginning, it could seem a little difficult to sew the beak, especially because this is a very small piece, and it's easy to get frustrated at the beginning when you are starting to crochet. But just do it with a lot of patience and little by little. And if after all of this you still find it too difficult to sew the beak, I'm going to leave you with the second option, which is going to be a little bit easier than this one, and so you can choose which one you like better. Here I'm just finishing off, and I'm just gonna hide the thread of yarn by inserting my needle back into the body and coming out the other end, and then pulling tight to secure it. Then just cut off the excess and our beak is ready. Here I give you another option to make our chicken a little bit different by embroidering the beak. Begin by making a mark of 2 stitches, and with your yarn needle you're going to insert it below the wing and come out in here in the first mark. But do not pull all the way through, just leave a short tail. And then you're gonna insert the needle again in the second mark. Remember, it is 2 stitches apart, and you're gonna come out here in the first mark. Now pull gently, and there you go. And now you're gonna repeat the process one more time. Insert the needle again and come out in the first mark here. Pull gently and guide the thread with your finger like this. Now repeat the process once again, but this time come out below the wing where you started. And don't forget to guide the thread with your finger like this. And it is done. Now in my case, I'm not gonna cut this yarn off because I'm going to sew the beak, but I'm gonna show you how to finish it off. For that, you're just gonna tie a knot. Don't pull too tight the first time, and now for the second knot you're gonna pull tight so it doesn't come undone. Now you're gonna cut this part of the yarn, and with a yarn needle you're going to start hiding this knot inside the body of our chicken like this. And once you cut off this excess, the knot is going to be invisible. And that's it. Insert the needle under the wing and come out under the eye, and don't pull all the way through. Now go back 1 stitch to the left and insert your needle again and come out like this. Pull gently, and now repeat the process. Remember to pull gently and guide the thread with your finger like this. Now repeat the process a 3rd time, but this time you're gonna come out under the other eye, around here, and pull the thread gently. Now you're gonna go back with your needle 1 stitch to the right, insert it again and come out here, pull gently. Now repeat the process again. Remember to guide the thread with your finger as you pull, like this. Repeat the process a 3rd time, but this time come out under the wing where you started. Pull gently and guide the thread with your finger. You can use the yarn needle to help shape this face a little bit more. To finish off, you're going to tie a knot. And don't pull too tight. Then you're gonna tie a 2nd knot, and this one you should pull really tight so it doesn't come undone. Then you're gonna cut off this excess, and using a yarn needle you're going to hide this knot in the body of our chicken, like this. Use the needle to fix it there, And now our chicken is finally finished. For this little chicken, I decided to add a simple bow by tying a piece of yarn. And for this other chicken, I added a couple of feet. Using the same embroidering technique as in the cheeks, I just made a couple of lines here to form them. And for this chicken, I decided to add a little hat as an accessory. And that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial and that you have learned a lot about crocheting amigurumi. And if you have comments or questions, just leave them below. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more videos and maybe share this video with someone who might like it. See you in another video.